With NiP winning the European minor and qualifying for the Faceit Major, and Get Right hitting a little bit of form towards the end of it, I thought I'd take a moment to talk about what is his role within this NiP lineup. What does he do for them? Is he still that famed Lurk position we always remember him as when he was the best player in the world? Well, he is to an extent on the T side, also a supportive player. But on the CT side is where I want to start. And this is where he gets put into positions by his teammates. That's where he's put, where he can apply the most pressure if he feels the read is there to the T side, forcing them to always check their back. And this first clip I've picked is basically just vintage Get Right, hitting the timing, just nailing it basically. You can see as the player disappears from Ents, he comes up the ladder, and I mean, you couldn't ask for any better time than that. All the information the player's going towards B, you can see the rotations able to move out here from red. So it's basically perfect from him. That's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about what he does after he gets his first kills, because that's the bit you can learn from. Obviously, this channel is mainly about learning and trying to apply stuff to your own game. But as he creeps up on these two players, obviously being in the position to do this, the ladder position overall, finds the two, controls the CZ nicely. But this is the part where I really love what he does, is he's not greedy. Smokes himself off, and he's going to completely disappear. And you see this what this does to the last two Ents players left alive. They're not sure which way to go. One's going to push this way, trying to find an entry. This guy's like, we can't push in because Get Right's somewhere behind us. And he comes hunting, has to push through the smoke, trying to work out what exactly is going on. But where's Get Right? He's found himself back in this position. That's what I love about this play from Get Right, is he knows it was a B hit. He killed the guys towards Monster, could be a hit towards short. So he moves straight away back to a position where he could be a flank on those guys, trying to hit short and apply pressure from a different angle. Obviously disappearing, forcing Alec, that's what I'm going to call him, from trying to find him. That timing was impeccable right there. The time runs out. Such a great play by Get Right. Not getting greedy, you don't need that third kill. Coming back to another position, he could support his players, coming out that door if that short hit did succeed overall. So that's just a little bit you can learn from there. I just love that. Almost a vintage Get Right play just to start off in this one. Now, obviously, a lot of Get Right's plays and the positioning he puts himself in are based on a lot more information than that previous clip I showed. It's going to be a great example here on Nuke. Again, notice he plays this hut position on the CT side, a position where you can make a lot of plays, you have a lot of freedom to be that player, getting information from your side and making reads depending on what the T side is doing. It's exactly what we're going to see initially in this clip before him actually making a further play from the information gained from his teammates. To start off with, he's just going to make a read off the utility thrown. So Lekro's the outside player. He's going to say, fellas, they're about to go some kind of hit. They've done the standard smoke wall outside. You can see he was already holding a very aggressive angle, which helps for Get Right in this scenario. But as we see, Dennis and co throwing these smokes outside, Lekro is going to spot the utility, say there's at least a few players out here. So what Get Right's going to do is he's going to take this very aggressive angle, work out what exactly Sprite are trying to achieve with this utility usage. Is it a B split? Well, possibly, because he just spotted the bomb. So what this does, is you notice he falls off the angle, doesn't want to get traded, is Rez now has to stick around and say, fellas, there's no one really coming towards ramp, so it's probably not going to be a B split. That probably wasn't their goal. They're trying to push and pull out rotations, unless a whole pile did run down secret without the bomb, which is unlikely. So as this player is spotted, Get Right moves back onto this angle. So they know right now there's very, very low chance someone's moving towards a ramp. It allows for a much stronger A setup to come in. You see the rest of the players, Frost has got this locked down. Dennis is able to move in to cover this area. So basically this whole A site, there's no one getting into the site without anyone noticing. A very strong setup. No one's really exposed to anywhere without being able to trade their teammates going down. And what this allows Rez to do is to work out what exactly is going in on this play. He's able to move around because Get Right's really aggressive onto this angle. He's cut off ramp while also playing the A site. So a very strong angle Get Right's taken. And as he walks out here, Rez is able to beautifully find that player. I don't know if the sound cue came through or something like that. So they know this was probably going to be some kind of A hit. Get Right makes the play as Dennis starts to take out the players coming out door. And this is a big factor. Obviously, the fact that NiP are winning this round, winning these duels, allows Get Right to flank even further, take out NATO Safix. But besides that, you can see just that angle, that little bit of aggression Get Right's prepared to take before making that pure flank towards the end of the clip, gives his teammates a whole lot of information and doesn't look like a full-on flank like you might associate with a lurk or a flank kind of player. It's a lot of information, and just that little bit, so that little extra angle he takes is a huge factor into that round. Another factor I want to quickly touch on is information is great, such as we saw in that previous clip, and Get Right in particular can use a lot of the information to make the plays he wants to make. That's just his play style. But information and chaos is even better because the T side or the opposing side has to worry about trading their teammates, getting to the area they want to get to. Such as this scenario here, we're going to see Lekro take out a player, then he's going to get taken out. Now, while a lot of this chaos is going outside, obviously there's information that a lot of players are outside right now for Get Right. There's no one really going to be watching the flank as much because they've got to all worry about trading their teammates because their teammates are going down. That's exactly the case in this scenario. No one's watching behind because there's obviously, they got to put their resources elsewhere to take out players such as Forest, just getting the kill right there. And this kind of chaos is where a player like Get can thrive, make some different plays in and out. We saw this, especially last round as well, towards the end of it. He's able to push through and flank that door play, but he's got to try and trade Dennis and stuff, getting the kills into his teammate. So I think this is potentially a reason why Get form has dropped a little bit, because as NiP is succeeding, he's going to succeed with them, because the chaos they create and the information they're able to grab, getting these early kills, allows him to move both on the T and the CT side. So something I want to watch for moving forward is, as the NiP improve, if they do improve, get those opening kills, does Get improve as well? Is he able to make the plays he wants to make? Flipping things over to the T side now, Get plays out towards the edges of the map, and Overpass is a great example of this. He plays outside that B monster tunnel area most of the time, just making sure his teammates can't get flanked, waiting for any aggression from the CT side, basically to punish what him himself would do if he was the CT player, trying to look for some openings, trying to find some aggression that way. In this particular scenario, it's a very simple example of what he does, but basically reads the situation quite well, wins the fight with Aerial before, again, reading the situation, understanding there's another player here, this isn't really a favourable fight for me, I'm just going to fall away, be happy with the one pick I got, lose a little bit of map control, but generally happy with that trade. We didn't really lose anything if you look at the round as a whole. So that's what he does basically in those scenarios. He hangs out here. If this team does come towards B, he'll join up with them, play a more traditional supportive role, throwing grenades. If not, he'll hang out here and maybe lurk a little bit behind. But he's not particularly active with his lurking, or he's not looking for openings. It's a little bit more of what I would call a passive style, such as that one, sitting back, waiting for the other team to make the aggressive push into you. And this is where it comes back, obviously, towards A after his players get a couple of pick and throws the smokes initially. Another thing, talking about teammates being successful, is 4 players alive right now for NiP. It gives Get the safety, basically, where he can turn around and check those players flanking. Obviously, if his teammates entering onto the site all go down quite quickly, such as, say, Forrest and Dennis get picked off really quickly, he's now forced to concentrate himself towards entering onto this site. He can't look behind and check, be more thorough like he was there. So again, that kind of role Get often plays does affect how successful his teammates are, how comfortable he is, where he has to concentrate is basically his focus at all times. So again, kind of relaying back into what I was talking about before. Finds Alu here, but again, a very simple round this one, but I think gives you a general understanding of, or a very basic understanding of how he plays towards the edge of the map and what he might do in a more passive sense. If you are playing this more passive role, opportunities will present themselves. Obviously in that previous clip, it wasn't really beneficial for Get to keep pushing through, as there were more Ents players locking down that choke point. You'll see a great example here where, as the Sprout players push in to Get and he punishes them, he straight away goes and becomes aggressor after being this passive, because obviously he's punished them, and this is the best opening you're probably going to find on the T side, is right after you've punished players. The rest of the CT side has to scramble to try and rotate, and there's most likely going to be an opening. So Forrest getting the first kill onto Dennis prompts Sprout to try and get some information. Get punishes the first 2, and notice straight away he's on his horse, he wants to move ASAP. He doesn't really clear everything, he just quickly clears everything very lightly and pushes through onto the side. If you think about this from multiple examples, obviously right now you can see the rest of the NiP side is with him, ready to join up with him. So obviously he's just leading the charge after finding the most likely opening. No point just sitting there thinking it's a 4v2. But even if the rest of the ninjas weren't with him, it's still very beneficial for Get to push in this scenario, because he's really going to cut off the rotations from Sprout, get his own information being in a more pushed up position. And this is something I see a lot of players struggle with. They get these 2 picks, they think, great, I got a couple of man advantage, but they don't understand this is probably the best chance you have for an opening for the T side into the round, even with the man advantage, and they play a little bit too passive. It's something to consider, try and read the situation, and obviously this will come with a little bit of experience. And lastly, playing these edge of the map positions such as Get does, obviously you got to deny information, which comes with punishing any pushes that the CTs might try and make, but also you got to try and stop the rotations moving around. Try and sell that there is a player still in this vicinity, try and keep your players there. Of course, if your team does plan to hit the other side. We're going to see a great example of this right now. It does involve a couple of his teammates with Dennis and Forrest throwing some utility. We're going to see Get make some great movement and really understand Inferno as a whole and how the angles work. Now he's most likely to stay alive while still selling this fake, making it a lot harder for Ents to clear out this position. So you can see as the smoke comes in here from Aerial, the rest of the smokes are thrown out by NiP, and he's just going to jump out to this hay cart position. You see what this does right now. The smokes are obviously up all over the map from NiP. They've done a great job of selling this, but Get jumps out around this position, knowing that the players are most likely being pushed back, and this gives them the greatest chance to stay alive, because with Get staying alive, they can't fully clear this, the CT side. Once Get goes down, they see no one, they start to clear this quickly, and can rotate back over towards the B side. But you see, Get does a great job of staying alive, taking fights if he needs to, doesn't actually kill anyone in this scenario, backs off. You can see the rotations that happen right now. I mean, it speaks for itself. 7 goes down, he's the only player there over towards B, and Get manages to pull himself back into this little cutout here, staying alive. The rotations become very difficult. He also cuts at anyone trying to flank Banana for his retake potential, obviously very unlikely in the 5v4. But this round, Get Right doesn't get any kills, but he has a huge impact in this one, jumping out, staying alive. This is a great thing about being this kind of player. Obviously, jumping out balcony like that, it's not always going to work. A little bit of risky play is a very specific example to Inferno, but I think you guys can understand that. Think about the game a little bit for yourself and think about how you can maybe apply this, trying to stop these rotations on other maps if you are this player playing towards these more wing positions. But that is about it, guys. Make sure to subscribe and like the video if you like this kind of content. Any feedback's always greatly appreciated, negative or positive. And of course, I'll catch you all in the next one.